I've got hundreds of founders booked on podcasts like Matt Gray, and the single biggest thing that determines whether someone lands a big show in their niche has nothing to do with how credible they are, how big their following is, or how many press features they have. It all comes down to doing two things extremely well: positioning yourself as a guest worth booking and pitching the host in a way that actually gets them to reply. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to nail both, and by the end, you'll have exactly what you need to start getting on the biggest podcast in your niche and become a thought leader in your space that people like and trust. Let's get right into it. Hosts of big shows get a large volume of pitches every week, and the filter they use to decide who gets a reply is straightforward. Their job is to protect the promise they made to their audience, meaning they're looking for guests who make their episode better, not guests who just want the exposure. So when a pitch reads like a resume or a credential list, it shows that the sender is thinking about what the appearance will do for them instead of what it will do for the listeners. That kind of pitch gets ignored immediately, not because the person isn't qualified, but because the framing is wrong. The approach that actually gets the replies is treating your pitch as an offer. A host doesn't care about your follower count or whether you have a Forbes feature. What they care about is whether your story, your insight, or your experience will genuinely help their audience. That's the lens they're reading every pitch through, and your whole approach needs to reflect it. And this is especially true for the biggest shows in your niche, because those hosts have a lot of options. They're not desperate for guests the way a new show still building its audience might be. The easiest yes a host will make all year is for someone who clearly understands their show, know their audience, and brings good stories. So before you send a single email, you need to have the right things in place to show the host you're worth booking. And real quick, if you want to learn how to get booked on 3 podcasts in the next 30 days, everything I use to get founders booked on big shows is inside my Podstar Challenge, linked right below this video. Anyway, let's keep going. How to build a profile that gets big hosts to say yes. The first thing you need before you pitch anyone is a good speaker profile, because the first thing a host does after reading your pitch is to look you up. If all they find is a generic LinkedIn page or a company website that doesn't speak to what you'd bring to an episode, you're not getting booked. So a speaker profile is a single dedicated page that answers every question a host has before they reply, including who you are, who you help, what you'd actually talk about, and whether you can deliver a good episode. The framework I use to build these is called Reveal, and it has 6 components. R is your results-centered hero line, which is one sentence at the top of the page that communicates who you help and what outcome you create for them. Something like, I help busy professionals lose their first 20 pounds without giving up the foods they actually enjoy. It is one sentence, it is specific, and a host reading that knows exactly who you are and who you serve. E is for evidence and mentions, which covers logos of clients you've worked with, press mentions, conferences you've spoken at, or podcasts you've already appeared on. Host schemes logos to place you quickly, so even 3 to 4 recognizable names do a lot of work here. V is voice and story, which is a short biography of 120 to 160 words that reads like a warm human introduction rather than a CV. Think less LinkedIn summary and more how you introduce yourself at a dinner table. If you were a fitness coach, that might be saying something about how you started as a personal trainer working with burned out executives, realized the real problem was never the workout plan, and build a method around the sustainable micro habits instead. That kind of tone makes a host feel like you'll be a natural on their show. Moving on to E, which is episodes and appearances, where you embed one video and one audio clip from a previous show. Hosts want to hear how you sound before they commit, and this is often what makes the decision. If you haven't been on a podcast yet, just record a 90-second clip explaining who you help, the 3 problems you speak to, and what listeners will walk away with. Then A is audience-ready topics, where you list 3 to 4 specific podcast topics, each with a title, what you'll cover, and one clear listener takeaway. Using the fitness niche example again, this could be something like why most people regain the weight, what actually causes it, and the 3 habits that break the cycle for good. A host reading that can immediately picture the episode and what their audience gets out of it, which is exactly what you want. Lastly, L is links and call to actions, which is a single button that says something like book me or invite me with a direct link to your email or calendar. If a host has to try and find how to reach you, they just won't. The outreach that gets replies. By this point, your chances of getting on a show have skyrocketed. And now you're ready to pitch with only one goal in mind: get a reply. It doesn't need to sell your entire story or list every credential you have. It just needs to feel personal. Be specific to that show and stay short enough that the host actually reads it. The structure I use keeps the whole email under 75 words at a 3rd grade reading level, and it has 5 different lines. Line 1 is a genuine reference to a specific episode mentioning something from their show that actually helped you or changed how you think about something. This proves you listened and opens with giving before asking. For the fitness example, that might sound like your episode on why diets fail after the age of 30 completely changed how I think about metabolism, and I've already shared it with 3 of my coaching clients. Then line 2 is a bridge from what you received to what you'd like to give back. Something like, I wanted to return the favor, so I thought I'd offer myself as a guest for your show. And line 3 is one relevancy sentence covering what you speak about and one concrete result you've helped others achieve. So I help busy professionals lose their first 20 pounds through sustainable habits, and I've done that with over 200 clients in the last 3 years. Would be a great one for this. Moving on to line 4, which is an optional incentive. This could be an offer to promote their episode across your channels or a willingness to pay a sponsorship fee if the show requires it. So you could say that you'd love to share one of their episodes across your channels once it's live, and if they have a sponsorship rate for the guest, you're happy to discuss that as well. Lastly, line 5 is a soft close, ending with a question that makes it easy to reply. This could be something simple, like, does this fit what your audience is dealing with right now? Or should I send a couple of topic ideas for the episode? For email subject lines, all lowercase performs best because it reads like a message from a real person, not a campaign. The 3 subject lines that consistently get the highest open rates are, okay if I give back, I owe you for the last episode, and your last episode changed my week. These works because each of them reads like it came from someone who actually listened to the show. One more thing that makes a big difference is to never include your speaker profile link in the first email. Sending a link in the first message can push your email straight into spam before the host ever sees it. So instead, just tell them you're happy to send your speaker page if it's helpful, and once they reply, that is when you share the link. Now, if you want to build all of this yourself with a full system behind you, my Podstar Challenge walks you through every step. And if you get booked on 3 podcasts in 30 days, you win your money back. That will be linked in the description below. But if you'd rather skip the learning curve entirely and have my team handle the research, the outreach, and the booking for you, we actually guarantee at least 3 confirmed podcasts a month. You don't have to do anything. Just have the podcast booked in your calendar and show up. Now, that option is also linked in the description along with the Podstar Challenge. And if you're thinking about starting your own podcast, then definitely check out this next video.